Hi guys, welcome to this video playthrough of The Hunters 1492. And if you're enjoying these video playthroughs, please do hit the subscribe button and like and all that other YouTube stuff, because it really does help me know that you guys are enjoying what you're seeing, and it makes this whole thing worthwhile. So let's get on with this playthrough. So when we last left off, we had done some woodcutting work for the tavern owner, and we had travelled to Andex Abbey to do that. And then, rather than going back and getting our reward from our little tavern, we decided to go straight on to card M07, which is where this beast known as a Megaloptera? Megaloptera? I'm not quite sure how you pronounce it. Has supposedly been killing villagers and the such like. So, we'll get straight into it. And this was the card we read last time, right before we finished. So, in the late afternoon, you reach the place Penzberg mentioned. In the distance, an old stone bridge spans the two banks of the deep-set river, which the locals call Quicksilver. Okay, so we need to go to 1801 in the Tome of Tales. When you're about 100 paces away, you smell the first wave of stench. These are rotten bodies, for sure. The next wave makes you nauseous. You feel that some evil is lurking under the bridge, as long as the mist is almost gone, and the rays of the sun warm the ground. This thing is hiding, but you are sure that despite its fear, it'll leave its lair driven by hunger or thirst, especially if it senses warm human bodies somewhere nearby. You're very close now. The bodies of the armsmen, or what's left of them, can be seen to the left of the bridge. The riverbanks are overgrown with thick bushes. Something akin to a den calls you, with its gaping, dark maw wedged deep under one of the stone pillars supporting the bridge. Okay, so we have a choice. A. You enter immediately to check if the monster is inside, giving it no time to prepare. It's best to slay the creature as soon as possible. Or, you don't know if Penzberg told you the truth about the monster's wounds. You prefer to wait outside until dark. The monster will probably leave its lair. Then you'll be able to assess its state and lay an ambush. Oh, I should have done this last time. I could have asked you guys, which way should we go? So, I'll try and do that when we get a choice in future. I'll try and leave off if we have a choice. And you guys can pick which way we go. So for this one, Penzberg did seem like a smarmy bullshitter. So, I'm not sure if I trust him. But if he was telling the truth, we'll probably get an advantage here. No, do you know what? I don't trust him. He's too much of a slime ball. And I'm pretty sure the tavern keeper told me as much. So I'm going to go with 1803. You decide to wait for night, taking your time to set up snares and find the best scouting points. Now you're waiting for the monster to leave its lair, ready to attack. Resolve quest 3B. Okay, cool. So we're straight into a quest. So we have here the directions for setting up quest 3B. So I'm going to set up the map, and then we'll be back when that's done. Alright, so this is the board set up, and we have the Megaloptera here. And it begins with 8 wounds on it in a 2-player game. So it should be a little bit easier to kill, since its standard health is 15. So we have to do, 7 wounds to it. Okay, so the special rules tell us, because this is 3B, because we chose to wait, all aforementioned rules apply. So, the rules for 3A, which is all about the damage it takes, but it also counts as being at night, and we can start with the hidden condition. We're not actually sure what those are yet, but I'm sure our how to play book will tell us. So, we're going to pick where we want to start, and since we're going to be hidden, we are going to start here, I think. And we are, of course, going to start with that hiding condition. So for as long as we remain hidden, the Megaloptera won't do anything. And to remain hidden, we have to meet a few conditions. So one of them is we cannot be the only hero within the enemy's line of sight. No, that's not a problem here. We must be on a board space with the hide icon, which is this little crossed out eye. Can't really see it very well there. And we can't be in the same or an adjacent space. So I'm hoping we can sort of sneak towards this Megaloptera and take it by surprise. We also have these 2 finding tokens here. So these are basically search tokens. I'm not 100% sure how they work. If I land on one, I'll look it up and I'll find out. So, you may remember from last time we had a difficult terrain with these yellow borders here. Now on this stage we've also got this blue border, which means this is a water space, and so are these 2 over here. So if you move into a water space, it's the same as difficult terrain, it ends your movement, but you also halve your perception and your agility, so ending in water is not necessarily ideal. And the red borders are completely impassable terrain. Oh, we can take a look at the Megaloptera as well, actually. So he's got 15 health, but he's already taken 8 wounds. He's got a perception of 1, so he's going to be going before we do. Melee defense of 2, range defense of 1, magic defense of 1. Slime covered. He ignores push and... is that stun? I think that's stun. Nope, I just checked. It's not stun, it's immobilize. So we can't push or immobilize it. Entanglement. Any hero performing a parting leap always suffers a penalty, regardless of the action card used. Okay, so if we ever move out of its space, it's always going to attack us. And aquatic creature ignores difficult terrain effects, water and swamp. So it's not going to have to worry about these water spaces like we do. And then in melee, it's got a strength of 2 and rolls 1 die. And at range, an agility of 2 and 2 dice. So it's definitely better to fight this thing in melee combat. Okay, so the last thing before we start is I'm just going to shuffle these. So it's actually got 5 action cards, so it's got a bit more variety to it than the previous enemies we fought. And then we'll give our own decks a shuffle as well. Okay, so we need to draw 5 cards. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, so the Megaloptera is going to go first, but we're both hidden, so it skips its turn, which is going to allow us to do some preparation. And you may remember that Wilhelm got pretty badly smashed up. He's only got 1 health left. So we're going to use a heal 2 on Wilhelm. And then we're also going to play this heal 1 on Wilhelm. And that's Friedrich's turn done. So Wilhelm, I don't know if he's got any way to heal himself. No, all he can really do is move and attack. But this might be handy. Positioning. So move or parting leap 1, and then he can give 1 offense token for a chosen ally. So he's going to use that. And that means he gets to give Friedrich 1 of these offense tokens. So hopefully I will remember to use that, which allows him to boost his strength, or, well, his attack power. And then his second action card. I don't think he's going to do anything else. Okay, so that would be the end of the first round. Now we have to beat it by round 7, so we can't waste too much time. So we'll draw a card for Friedrich. I mean for Wilhelm. And then Friedrich needs 2 cards. So he gets another heal. And, oh, that Greek fire. That'll be handy. So we're still hidden from the Megaloptera. So we're going to start moving forward now and try and sneak up on it. So as long as we move together, from my understanding of the hidden rules, until we get to here, it's not going to see us. So we're going to start with Friedrich, who is going to heal 1 from Wilhelm. And then unfortunately he doesn't have any move cards. So we're just going to have to throw a card away. So we'll get rid of this left swing, and that allows him to move 1 space. Oh, I should have also mentioned, because this takes place at night, our range is our line of sight is reduced to only 2 spaces. So even if I had a range 3 attack, I wouldn't be able to hit him from there. It doesn't say that applies to him though, so I guess the Megaloptera has night vision. Got some pretty decent attack cards, so we're just going to move slowly here. We'll use this card for Wilhelm to move 1, and then I think we'll hang on to these others, because that looks like it'll be pretty handy. Yeah, they all look like they'll be pretty handy. So once again, that's the end of our turn. So we'll draw another card for Wilhelm, and we'll draw 2 more cards for Friedrich. And then we're on to turn 3. Okay, so we're going to have to start moving now, because we're really running out of time. But unfortunately, I'm just not getting any move cards. So Friedrich, he's going to have to throw another card. So I think he'll throw this left swing, and he'll use this heal 2. And this time he'll use the heal 2 on himself, because he's only got 4 health. So he's now on 6 health. And the left swing he threw away was so he could move to there. We're going to have to throw away a card. Okay, we've got 2 quick blows, so we're going to throw away one of our quick blow cards to move Wilhelm to there. Okay, and then we draw back up to our hand limit. So we get advance. And Friedrich gets 2 cards. Okay, and then we're on to round 4. So this is probably going to be a quick, punchy fight if we manage to do this. So we're still hidden. We're still in a hiding space, and we're right up near its den. And we're going to lose our hiding now. And I'm interested in this finding token. So I'm going to use this rubble card with Friedrich and allow him to move 1 space into there. So the Megaloptera is going to become active from the next round. And now he's in this space with this token. Okay, so to collect that token, I'm going to need to throw another card away. And that will just allow me to collect it. So we'll get rid of this answering the call. And Friedrich gets this finding token. Okay, now we need Wilhelm to go. So he's going to use this advance, so he can perform a move or parting leap. And his movement ends there, but he gets +1 offense token if any enemy is on an adjacent space, which he is. So Wilhelm now also has an offense token. And then there's not much else I can do, so I'm not going to spend another card. Okay, so the Megaloptera is going to go next turn. So we're at the end of our turn. So we draw another card for Wilhelm. And Friedrich needs 2, so he gets Rubble and Disabling Infusion. Okay, so now the fight will finally begin as we get to round 5. Okay, so the Megaloptera is going to go first. So we'll draw its action card. But it's not at range 0, it's at range 1+. So it's going to attack, and it's going to inflict Immobilize. So we're going to have it attack Friedrich. So it's attacking at range, so it rolls 2 dice. It needs to roll a 2. So it hits with one of those, and it adds 2. So that's going to do 3 damage to Friedrich, which drops him from 6 health straight down to 3. And it also immobilizes him, which is unfortunate. And then that's all it does. So since he's immobilized, we've got that Greek fire, which is pretty good. And we've also got those stimulants. I'm just going to check if Immobilize does anything other than stop you from moving. Yeah, so it just means for this turn he can't move. But that's not too bad. What we're going to do is use that stimulant. So you and your allies within range 0 to 1 gain +1 accuracy until the end of the turn. And then we're going to use our Greek fire. And ordinarily we'd need a 2 or a 1 to hit, but our stimulants are in effect, so we need a 3 or less to hit. And we get a 5 and a 3. So we do have this offense token, but I didn't declare I was using it. I thought it increased your attack power. It doesn't. It increases your accuracy by 1. Should have been kind of obvious by the arrow in the bullseye. But since I didn't declare it, then I'm not going to spend it. But it wouldn't have made any difference anyway, because a 5 would have still been a miss. So our Greek fire, we get 1 success. His intelligence is 2. So it becomes a 3. And the Megaloptera has 1 point of magic defense. So we deal 2 wounds to the Megaloptera. Which actually puts on 10 damage. Yeah, because it started with 8. So we've got to do 5 more points of damage to it. We'll leave that there because those stimulants are still in effect. Okay, and then we have Wilhelm. So we want to get as much attacking as done as we can with Wilhelm. They're the wrong way round. So you have to resolve actions in order. So we'd have to do attack 2 and then move or parting leap. So I'm going to have to throw a card to move a space. So we'll throw away Precise Blow. And that allows Wilhelm to move 1 space into the same space as the Megaloptera. And then we are going to use this Flurry of Blows, because remember these stimulants are in effect. So this is going to do 2 attacks, each of which we need a 3 to hit. We are using our Cinco Dia, so it only rolls 1 die. So we're looking for 3s. And we get a 4. So the first attack misses, although, just a moment. Aha, we can spend this other Precise Blow to allow us to reroll 1 die. So we'll do that. So we're going to reroll that die. And we get a 5, which is even worse. Okay, never mind. And then the second attack from that Flurry of Blows. It's also a 5. And unfortunately, his strength is only 2. So there's nothing I can do to increase those, is there? No. The reaction system seems strange to me, because it says you can only play a reaction for each action you've played. So I'm just going to look that up in the rules, because it seems like I would never be able to react unless I go before the enemies. Okay, I've just read that rule, and I realise my misunderstanding. So when you use a reaction, you can only use 1 reaction card to affect 1 action being played. So you can basically only use them 1 at a time, is what that means. I was misreading that to say that you could only use a reaction once you'd played an action card. I don't quite know how I'd got that misunderstanding. But yeah, so I can use a reaction card. But unfortunately, I don't think I have any that are going to be of any use to me. No. Okay, so our stimulants go away, and Flurry of Blows has been used. So we need to draw 3 cards for Wilhelm. And 2 cards for Friedrich. And we're on to round 6, so we're badly running out of time now. I'm going to have to do him a lot of damage on this turn. So the Megaloptera is going to go first. So he is at range 0. So he's going to use an attack 2 and then a parting leap of 1. I guess he's going to leap to here. That's my assumption. Okay, so it's a melee attack. Now, before we resolve that attack, let's see if we've got anything that we can use in our reactions. Okay, so Wilhelm doesn't have anything. Choose any amount of the total attack strength. It affects any ally on your space or any adjacent space. Okay, so he can pass them off to other players. But it would have to be targeting him. Okay, so there's no reactions we can really use there. So it is going to attack Wilhelm. And it attacks with 1 die and has 2 strength. So it misses with that. But it does do 2 wounds to Wilhelm, dropping him down to 3 health. And then it does its parting leap. So when an enemy performs a parting leap, a hero can perform a penalty strike, or basically an attack of opportunity against it. And so because Wilhelm's in the same space, he is going to be able to get a free attack. It's an attack value of 3, plus his strength, and it's got a melee defense of 2. So we only do 1 wound to it. And then it moves to here. And then its turn ends, which that was quite handy for us. So I think we'll start with Wilhelm. Okay, so we're going to need to move next to it. So we'll just get rid of this precise blow to move 1 space. Now I do want to get that finding token, but we've only got 1 more round after this. So I think I'm going to go for the attack. So we'll use quick blows. And I really need this to be a hit. So we're going to spend his offense token. So this attack 3 becomes an attack 4. We roll a 3. So of course I didn't need the offense token. So that is 1 success plus his 2 strength. So that does 1 more wound. So it's got 3 health left. I should have really played this on my turn when I was doing the attack. But we haven't done anything else yet, so it doesn't matter. We can add Mighty to that attack that Wilhelm just did with this reaction card. So we're going to use this card to add Mighty, which means when I did that attack, I did do damage, but even if I hadn't, the Megaloptera would still get one of these tokens, which lowers all of its defense types by 1. So that's going to be key to us beating this thing, because now it only has a melee defense of 1, and its other defense values are 0. And then for Friedrich, we're just going to throw 2 of his cards. So we'll use that rubble to move him 1 space. And then we will... Oh, in fact, that one's perfect. He can heal 1 to himself, putting himself back up to 4 health. And then he's going to move 1 into the space with the Megaloptera. Okay, so we draw back up to 5, so 2 cards for Friedrich. Nice stimulants, that's going to be handy. And 3 cards for Wilhelm. And this is our last round, our last chance to defeat this thing. So of course it's going to go first because its perception is higher. So let's see what it does. Okay, at range 0 it's going to do an attack 3. So Friedrich has slightly more health, and he might have a decent reaction. Ooh. That bandage is really good, actually. Because if we look at this, Choose any amount of the total attack strength. It affects any ally on your space or on any adjacent space instead of you. So, we're going to play that in a minute. Because it says play after the enemy roll. So it is doing a melee attack, so it only rolls 1 die, and it needs a 3 for a hit. Which it doesn't get, so it only does 2 damage. So its attack strength is 2. And we're going to use this card to choose any amount of the total attack strength, so we're going to choose 1 of that total, and that means Wilhelm will take 1 point of the damage, and Friedrich will take 1 point of the damage. That's a really good reaction. It allows you to divide the damage amongst your characters. And that's all he does. He didn't do a parting leap, thankfully. So we should be good for getting rid of him here. So we're going to use Friedrich first, and he's immediately going to play his stimulants. Now, I could plant this frag bomb, but it requires the enemy to move into it. Oh, I've left that immobilised token there for the entire game. That only lasted for 1 turn. So we've got our stimulants, and then we're going to throw this card to do an interact action, and he gets to pick up the other finding token. And now we just need to try and hit it with as many attacks as possible. Unfortunately, we don't have a lot of decent attacks. Ooh, although that's a good reaction. Okay, so for our first action, we're going to use this draw attention. So we don't have to play the second part of the action. So we're just going to do the attack 2. We've got stimulants, so it becomes an attack 3. And then we're going to play protecting the group, which is plus 2 dice during an attack if your ally is on your same space. Which, of course, Friedrich is here with us. Which means that 1 dice attack now becomes a 3 dice attack. And we need 3s or less. And we get a 3, a 2, and a 5. So we add the strength bonus of 2 to that for a total of 4. Its defense, if you remember, has been reduced to 1 by the mighty token. So we do 3 damage to it, which is a total of 15, and defeats it. So that's the Megaloptera den. And I don't have anything else to actually do with Wilhelm, so that is the end of that. And we once again emerge victorious. So let's take a look at our victory text. You stare with disgust at the horrid carcass lying in a growing pool of black blood. You've never faced such a dangerous enemy, and the coming weeks will likely prove even more challenging. For now, you return to the inn for your reward, not to mention a well-earned rest. Okay, so each hero gains 2 experience. The hero dealt the killing blow gains 1 morale. Okay, so Wilhelm gains another morale, which is good. Oh, I could have been using this, couldn't I? You can spend your morale to increase your strength by 1. I completely forgot about that. You gain 1 blood and 1 bone resource token. So we gain a blood and a bone. Oh, that's another blood token. There we go. That's a blood token. So that's the monster's blood and its bones we have. Okay, and then place 3 ducats for each hero on M06. So we're just going to tidy away this quickly. So we're back on the world map. And it tells us to place 3 ducats for each hero on M06. So that's going to be a total of 6 ducats on this map card, along with the ones we already got for the woodcutting. One, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So we've got quite a little pile of loot there. Okay, and then place story card 005 face down on M10. Okay, so we'll just move the wagon aside. So that goes on there. And then roll a die for each collected finding. Okay, so we got both of them. So for the first one, we roll a 3, which gets us one rock, I guess. And for the second one, we roll a 5, which gets us one apple. Okay, nice. We've got a little pile of resources there. And because these resources go to the group, we got this yarn last time, and we got that humanoid grease as well. So these all go on the caravan, rather than to a specific character. Okay, and that's it for that. We are back to the world map phase. So before we do any movement, we're going to take a quick look at our experience for our two characters. So Friedrich has 4 and Wilhelm has 5. So there's a few ways to spend experience. Let's just take a quick look at Wilhelm's board. So he's got 5 experience. Now 10 experience would let him unlock an equipment slot, and various amounts will allow us to upgrade things like our health. But we can also buy new cards. So we've got 5, so there's not a lot we can do at the minute. We can upgrade our health by 1. But we can also potentially unlock a new ability card, if there's any that are cheap enough. So we're going to take a quick look at his deck of available ability cards. So the experience cost is down here. So what have we got? 6, 7... it looks like they might all start at 6, 9, 10... Oh, yeah, these are getting really expensive. Yeah, okay, so we can't afford any of those. So do I upgrade his health by 1? I don't want to spend all 5 of our experience points on that. I'm going to save them. So yeah, we're not going to do any character upgrading. Okay, so the tutorial guide does kind of tell us that we head straight to Penzberg, but I don't want to do that. I want to go here and collect all my loot first. So we will have to advance the day tracker by 1. So we've now taken 5 days, and we're going to move to here. And as you may remember, we have to roll our die to see if we get a travel event, which we don't. So we go straight here, and as soon as we land on this space, this is done because we've resolved it, and we resolved the woodcutters, so we get all this loot. So it's going to be 4 coins each, and 1 leather each, but I'm just going to stick that straight into the wagon, because I'm pretty sure you can share resources. I haven't seen any rule that says you can't. We're going to spend another day to move to Penzberg. So we see if there's any event. Or in fact, we need to reveal it, don't we? Because we don't know whether it's a level 1 or a level 2 event. So Penzberg is level 1. So we see if we get a road event. We don't. So we're now in Penzberg. Okay, so as soon as we land on Penzberg, this has got the little arrow, so we resolve it straight away. You reach the town walls at sunset. Ugly-faced guardsmen turn to you. They are hidden in a wooden, soot-stained deck house over the gate. Stop! Who the hell are ye, and what ye want? You hear the fat guardsman in a leather vest say. The man is clearly drunk. Okay, so we resolve 4.01. So we turn to our Tome of Tales and we resolve 4.01. A. We've come to slay your beast. We heard that no one else has got the guts to do it. We've come at the invitation of the Duke, where his guests. I don't want to insult this guy and call him a coward. But then again, I haven't actually met the Duke. But I suppose he did send that letter to us personally. I could end this here, actually, and ask you guys what you think we should do. But I do really want to spend all my loot. This doesn't sound like it's too important, so I'll pick this one for now. And if there's another one later on, I guess I'll see if you guys can pick. Okay, so I'm going to say we've come at the invitation of the Duke. We're his guests, so we've got 4.03. You don't look like the Duke's guests or consorts, armed and all. Must be our beast you're looking for. Please come, the gate is open. You enter through a low gate and walk into a dark alley leading deeper into the town, your nostrils filled with a tempting smell of roasted meat. You should probably find an inn, as you haven't eaten a decent meal for days, but you decide to visit the Duke's abode first. Okay, so place L01, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Place S06 face down on L01. Okay, so let me just check what those are. Okay, so I've just set all those up. So L0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6 are the town cards. So this is where we can buy stuff. And it tells us to place S006 on the Duke's castle. When we enter a settlement, such as this one, we can start on any of these locations we like. So we're going to start at the Duke's castle. And then it seems to be just moving around and buying stuff, and there's also some services at different ones, such as healing and things like that. Now, as long as we're inside the settlement, we don't have to advance the day marker on the caravan board, so it's assumed everything we do in this town visit is all done within one day. And once we've done at one location, we can just move on to the next. However, when we move between locations, there is a chance for a town event to occur, which is done from a different event deck to the road events. And it's done in the same way. We roll the green die. If we roll the flag, we draw a town event. So when we're moving around, we'll have a look at that. But first, we've arrived at the Duke's castle, so let's resolve S006. A guardsman, lazily leaning on his spear, eyes you from head to toe, but makes no attempt to stop you. On the contrary, he lets you inside through the half-open gate leading to a cobbled courtyard. Okay, so you're surrounded on three sides by a two-storey building. It's a shapeless, filthy pile of stones called the Duke's Palace by the locals, but this couldn't be further from the truth. There's a low wall with a gate behind you. You've just come through it. To the right, you barely make out a squat, square keep wrapped in the fog. It's crowned with a steep roof. A bonfire is burning in the courtyard. A few more guardsmen are warming their hands over it. One of them, with a dirty eye patch, heads toward you. Are ye here to visit the Duke? He tightens his belt and looks menacingly at you. Wait here, whom should I announce? We're the hunters. We come to answer the Duke's summons to slay the beast. The man eyes you, then spits. In this very moment, the front door opens and warm light from inside the building brightens the courtyard. You can also hear people talking. A short bearded man wearing a richly decorated blue doublet comes out to the courtyard. He approaches you, the other guardsmen bow in respect. Ha! At last! My men reported that you should come a few days earlier, but better late than never, right? You're the hunters, I suppose. I reserved a place for you in our best inn, so you need not worry about room and board. Kurt will also give you a few coins up front, so that you can drink to my health in the evening. Ha ha! You've probably heard that people call our local pet the Beast of Penzberg, haven't you? We're famous. Our town will finally make history. Ha ha! Kurt, take my guest to the inn. We shall meet in a few days at the feast I'm organising to celebrate your coming. You will learn everything you need to know. Before that, rest and get to know our noble town. Kurt, where the hell are you? Kurt? A thin young man comes out from the building and quickly limps closer. Please follow me. I will show you the way and act as your guide. Headsman's Inn is a decent, low building located a few streets from the palace. Kurt takes you upstairs to a large room that you can even lock. It looks cosy, despite cobwebs and dirty bowls with water. You're really impressed with the real wooden beds, as you're not accustomed to such luxuries. Time to follow the Duke's advice and check the neighbourhood. Okay, so place story card S007 face down on location 1. With a time token in 3 days. Okay, that's when the feast you're invited to takes place. Okay, so we're going to have 3 days before we come back to this feast. So we'll sort those time tokens in a second. So place J003, 004 and S71. Okay, so let's, I'll place these and then I'll go through them. Okay, so I've just had to quickly set everything up there. And a couple of cards got placed onto the world map, so I've moved our town market down here. I suppose that should be there. I don't know if we actually move as a group or separately. I think we move as a group. So that told us to put some cards on the Executioner's Inn. We have another 3 cards on the Long Market. And then we have Story Event 8 down here at M15 and Story Event 9 up at M04. So I guess at this point we're just free to move around. But we do need some time tokens on there. 13. Okay, so this has got this number here means we have to complete this between 13 and 23 days. I think that's what that means, if I remember correctly. But we need to put some time tokens on there. Which I'm going to have to look up later, because I'm not sure which tokens are the time tokens. Okay, so I guess we can just move around now. And I don't think there's any rules against sharing money and resources. So we could potentially buy some decent stuff here. So let's take a look at our locations. And it's just one movement to get to any of these. They're not arranged in any kind of particular order. So some armour would be good. But we might want to upgrade our wagon as well, because that will let us build our own stuff. So let's quickly grab our wagon. So here's our wagon. Everything is, of course, at level 0 at the minute. It tells us here what the cost is to upgrade any given crafting aspect of the wagon. So to upgrade to level 1, it costs 2 ducats, 3 to get to level 2, and 5 to get to level 3. Okay, so I've just looked up the cost of crafting some things. We don't have anywhere near enough resources to craft anything yet. So if we want anything, we're going to have to buy it in town. So if we look at the armoury, we've got gambesons for 5 ducats. We could do with a decent sword as well. Alright, what we're going to do is we're going to head down here to the Long Market. We've got several cards there, and we've got stuff we can buy and sell. So we need to roll our die to see if we get a town event, and we don't. Okay, so let's take a look at these first. Okay, so assassinations, difficulty medium. Noble hunters needed to put an end to our misery. A fiend is hunting, barring us from respite, in sleep, sucking blood and murdering our neighbours. Lena from beyond the walls, right next to the Linden Meadow. Okay. Bridge. Anyone who can handle a sword and wants a purse full of coins should head to the White Bridge over the narrow river. A band of brigands is blocking the crossing, taking unlawful tolls from all passing souls. Handsome reward awaits. Merchant's Guild, that's probably going to be a good money reward. Then the mill. Strong and tough volunteers wanted. A mill wheel needs replacing. 2 days of decent work for a group of able-bodied men. 'Tis no place for weaklings. Dietrich, the miller. Okay, so that's probably going to get us some good resources, but it's going to take us 2 days. So I don't think we're going to do that. We can go over and have a look at some of the other stuff that's available as well. But I must admit, the bridge sounds tempting, because that's from the Merchant's Guild, and it says a handsome reward. And this seems like the sort of the noble thing to do. Okay, but first, the reason we've come here is because we can sell some of our resources. Now, we've got Monster Bone and Monster Blood. If you remember, we got those from our caravan. So we can sell those for 2 ducats each. So I'll probably regret this later, because they're probably very good for crafting, but I'm going to sell them to get some money, which gets us 4 ducats. Then we still need money, so that rock we found is actually silver, which we're going to sell to get another 2 ducats. And this is all going to go straight into Wilhelm's pocket, because we want to get a decent sword for him. So he's got 12 ducats, which will be enough to buy a decent sword for us, I think. So we're going to sell 2 leather for 1 ducat each, I think. Leather is 1, yeah. And we can sell our fruit and our yarn for half a ducat each. This is the first game I've seen where it has a denomination of a half. Yeah, I'm probably going to regret this, but we'll sell both of those as well. And that gets us 1 more ducat. Okay, so we're done here. We can, in fact, we're allowed to look at the backs of these cards. So let's see what we get for the Merchants Guild. If you're interested and want to depart, place S027 on MO7. Okay, that's a pretty good reward. 2 ducats and 1 silver. The assassinations. 1 yarn, 1 flour, and 1 wood. And this one would get us 1 leather, 1 silver, and 1 iron. So that is pretty good, but it's going to be a couple of days' work. So we'll have a think about which one of these we want to do, because there's also stuff over the Executioner's Inn over here that we can do. Okay, the first thing we're going to do is we're going to move to the blacksmith. So, do we have an event? We do have a road event. Okay, so we get our deck of road events. Now there's no levels for these. These are just whichever ones we get. So, invest in yourself, says a sign, carved on a board and painted in red. A young woman is sitting on a wooden chair under a roofing made of white cloth. A bearded charmer is beside her, tattooing her arm. Something for you, maybe a dragon that will draw women's looks, or maybe a frightening knight to guarantee a free round in tavern. I'm Master Sharnak, welcome to me booth. The master comes closer and whispers, or maybe something that will really empower your bodies. I can weave a demonic will into my works and speak forbidden words. You'll gain much more than just a beautiful souvenir, but this requires silence and darkness, and of course, gold. Okay, so this guy wants to give me a demonic tattoo. I'm not sure I'm interested in that. Something pleasing for the eye, why not? We can give you half a ducat, but we're not interested in any additional services. Maybe. That sounds interesting. We can arrange a special meeting. Many thanks, but we fare well without black magic. So if I had to guess, I'd say option A will probably give us some kind of morale boost. Option B will probably give us some kind of stat boost, but it might be quite expensive and potentially dangerous. But I need that money, so I'm going to go with option C. Neither black magic nor colourful images are necessary in your line of work. Discard this card. So I'm going to have to check when you discard a card. Does it go out? I think it goes out of the game. I think that's it. You've removed it from the campaign. Okay, so we need to look at how much money we've got for Wilhelm. So he's got 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. He's got 15. So we can get him a long sword for 12, because that's more of his kind of thing. But it'd only leave him with 3 gold, so he wouldn't really be able to get any armour. Well, we've managed fine without armour so far. So we're going to buy a long sword. So here is our brand new long sword, which nicely rolls 3 dice, and it gets +1 to its accuracy, so that's going to be really good for him. And that cost us 12 gold. Or 12 ducats, so 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. Okay, so we've got 3 left. Plus Friedrich's stash. So that long sword is going to go on Wilhelm's player board. Then we're going to move to the armourer. So we see if we get a town event, and we don't. So I've got 7 ducats for Friedrich, but that gives us a total of 10 ducats, which actually that's really good, because if we pool our resources, we can buy 2 gambesons, or we could buy 1 brigandine. let's take a look at them and decide which one we want to get. Okay, so here's the Gambeson. It's going to give us +1 defense against melee and ranged, and the Brigandine is going to give us +2 defense against melee and ranged, but it is going to reduce our mind and our perception. Our perception's as low as it can go, and so is Wilhelm's mind, so this is no problem for him. But obviously, Friedrich uses a fair few magic attacks. So it might be worth getting a Brigandine, giving it to Wilhelm, because it's not really going to have any effect on him. And then he can take most of the hits for Friedrich, or that's what we'll try to do. So yeah, I think that's what we'll do. So that costs us all 10 of our coins. So we're spent up. We've spent absolutely everything we have. But Wilhelm should now be a pretty formidable force in combat. Right, so the last thing for us to do is to travel down to the Executioner's Inn. Which we'll do that now. And we do get a road event, so let's see what we get. Assault. No! No! A scream comes from a nearby building, followed by a loud thud. The house is shabby, like most in this town. Plaster falls off stone walls in large patches, while wooden beams are so eaten by woodworm that it's a real wonder they haven't fallen apart yet. You look around, hoping to see some passerby, but the street is quiet and empty. You hear another scream, followed by sobbing. A. You run inside. B. You sneak closer and peek inside through the window. C. You pretend you haven't heard anything and keep walking. Okay, we're going to be the heroic types. We're going to run inside. A young, richly dressed young man is laying in the middle of a room, protecting himself from an attacker who is kicking him. You rush toward them to stop the assailant. Okay, so our Tome of Tales. You jump at the assailant, trying to drag him away from the victim and subdue him. The man fights like a bull, scratching, kicking, and throwing blows all around. Two chosen heroes test together. Strength 5. Sum up their strength, add 1. Oh, add 1 roll and compare them with a test difficulty. Ooh, okay, that's not going to be good. Because Wilhelm has strength 2, but Friedrich doesn't have any. However, we can use our morale to increase this, and we can use it after we've rolled the die. So let's see what we roll. Okay, we roll a 1, so that's 3. Luckily, Wilhelm has 2 morale. So we're going to spend 2 of his morale points to make that into a 3. And that gives us a total of 5, giving us a victory. So 28.5 is a pass. You may get up, the threat is gone. The young man rises with difficulty, holding his hurt hip. Many thanks for your help. That savage would have killed me. Hard to believe that such an old maggot dare slander me. Bad times are upon us, mark my words. Each hero gains 2 XP. Okay, so it cost me a bit of morale, but we got 2 XP for that. That's pretty good. We are going to look through these cards. So, Story 71 is face up. A hooded, haggard man is leaning against the doorframe, watching you closely with his squinted eyes. The inn patrons clearly stay away from the man. Only a few are bold, or drunk enough to nod to him. It appears that he has been waiting for you. Okay, so 44.1. It's good you've come. They call me Peter. Good people have told me you're open to new relationships. How did you enjoy the Duke's feast? Or maybe it's still ahead. I hardly ever attend such events, though most of their guests are my friends or clients. You might ask yourself why a rich and influential person would need such a grim, uncouth individual like myself. Let me give you an example. You've probably heard about the way the Chosen are. Well, Chosen, the lottery. That once you become one of them, there's no way to change your fate. Receiving a white stone is tantamount to a sentence. Well, there are ways to avoid even such tragedies. You simply need to know which strings to pull. Do you want to be sure that no accidental string is pulled? one you don't want pulled? Would you like to have a friend in me? I bet many people have asked you the same question during the last few days, but as people in the East like to say, you can never have enough friends. Despite the fact that I'm a kind, accommodating man who doesn't mean anyone harm, there are people in this town who have made it their life's goal to trouble me, meddle with my business and destroy my reputation. There's this man, Hieronymus, more commonly known as Fox. He's especially irritating. That individual decided that my employees and friends will be denied access to the charcoal burners district by the southern gate, and I don't like it. Someone has to go to the Ginger Foxtail Inn, pay him protection money and make a mess, break a few noses, spill ale, maybe chase horses away from barn to street so that they'll have to look for them for all day. But no excessive bloodshed, just to be clear. So, will you do me this small favour? Alright. I think that's where we're actually going to leave it. So I want you guys to tell me, what are we going to do? Are we going to take the favour from this this strange chap in the inn? Or are we going to continue on with what the Duke wants us to do? So leave a comment or something like that. And that's where we're going to go next. With wherever this story event leads us. So I hope you guys have enjoyed this tutorial. That marks the end of the 3 tutorial missions. And we should now know enough to pretty much play the game. I'm sure there'll still be lots of rules checking, but if there's enough interest in this, I will continue making video playthroughs. Just like I say, if there's not enough comments left to decide what we're going to do, then I don't know, I'll figure it out for myself. But like I say, please do subscribe if you have enjoyed these videos, and leave a comment, like, all that stuff. And yeah, let me know where the hunters should head next. So I will see you in the next one. Bye.